Then in the afternoon, we'll be heading out to the Grove, Vaught-Hemingway Stadium. Another pair of college football playoff rookies as John Summerall leads Tulane in to take on Ole Miss. Now, we saw this one before. It was 45-10. Some things have changed. Obviously, Ole Miss will not be having Lane Kiffin roaming the sidelines. That will be new head coach Pete Golding, though Charlie Weiss Jr. and a few other assistants have rejoined the team in preparation for this game. John Summerall, since the first game, led Tulane on the way to an American Athletic Conference championship, but also accepted the Florida job. And that includes the fact that DJ Lagway, is in the transfer portal, and other Florida Gators are now starting to eye their exits as well. So there's a lot on the mind of John Summerall. Can they make it closer?
Yeah.
I think it's possible. Yeah.
I mean, is there anything that Tulane has learned that could change the way that this game goes? The things that stood out to me, obviously Jake Retzlaff, that was early, right? Before he had sort of settled in.
Yeah.
The problem was probably more on the side of letting Ole Miss just blow through your defense. And I don't know if the Green Waves defense, they did a good job against North Texas. I don't know what I'm hanging my hat on in terms of this Tulane defense right now, outside of the reputation of its head coach, who's leaving.
I think Tulane got scripted out of that game real quick.
Like just the fast start, and then all of a sudden they never had a chance.
I think in order to make this game competitive, Tulane has to get off to a much better start than they did in that game, and that's no duh. But it's like they were epically bad to start. Retzlaff was 0 for his first 9. He ended up getting benched for Brendan Sullivan in the game. And so Tulane immediately found itself down multiple scores. And once Tulane's down multiple scores, it can't really play the way that it wants to play. So I think you need to figure out ways to run the ball better than you did in that game, because they did run the ball somewhat effectively in that matchup compared to, the opponent that they were playing. It wasn't awful. But I do think that the biggest problem Tulane faces in this game, or in any game it was playing in this tournament, it's got the worst defense in the playoff by far.
Yeah.
By a lot. And you mentioned it, Chip. Ole Miss scored on 8 of its 11 possessions in that first game, and one of those was the final possession, just kneeling it out at the end. So really it was 8 of 10. They have to figure out ways to get stops, and that has been a problem for them for most of the season. They have been a team that has to go and outscore its opponents far more often than anything. So that's, I don't know. And here's a fun stat. Of Ole Miss's 10 actual drives, 6 of them went at least 60 yards.
What's that available yards percentage? Like 80?
High.
Yeah.
I think that's very fair as far as finding a way for this to be closer. Sure, Ole Miss is sloppy. They drop some passes, all the changeover. If you're looking for on the field of football reasons, I think it's tough. Mm-hmm. But you can't ignore all the changeover going at both programs, mm-hmm. right? So, and I don't know if we can necessarily assume that one team's going to handle it well, one team won't. Maybe they both handle it poorly. Maybe one team handles it great and one team doesn't. That's probably your best path for this to be, closer. Ole Miss's pass rush is not great. It's decent. Now they were fine against Tulane in that first game. So I think Tom's point though is Tulane has allowed more than 6 yards of play 6 times this year, and more than 7 twice, and that was Ole Miss and UTSA. So I just don't think their secondary is great. If something doesn't change, they're going to go through them like a buzzsaw, much like the saw you're hearing right outside my window right now because you're picking that up on the microphone here. Retzlaff, I think his legs are important here.
Yeah.
He ran a lot this year, and then the final 3 games of the regular season ran almost none, and I assuming because he was, dinged. Then he ran more against North Texas there in the conference championship game. But does he have the athletic advantage against Ole Miss? I don't there's a big difference between doing that in the American and doing that against Ole Miss. He didn't do that at BYU nearly as well, right? Because there's a different quality of athlete. So I that's going to be key to watch. Do his legs actually play a factor here? I'm a little skeptical.
I do think too. There is something to what was that? His 3rd or 4th game?
First time and no spring practice.
He's gonna be more comfortable in the system where he'll know where to go with the football quickly. He'll have a better grasp of that. And I do think I don't think he's gonna light up Ole Miss's defense with his legs, But I do think he can make it a headache. You can extend plays a little bit. You can extend drives. You can get away a little bit from that first pressure. But like you said, he's not going to be running all over him. Bud, did you start a GoFundMe for Tulane and JMU's injured players yet?
Not yet. No. I might be selling some shirts though, actually.
To cover the medical
Safety issue.
Yes.
Did you see Awful Announcing Aggregated? That was great.
Oh yeah, they did. They did. They ran with it.
Do you think that the home environment will be just a fine home environment? Do you think we'll get an angry Ole Miss crowd, like extra little pep in their step? Like, yeah, Tom, that's what I'm kind of wondering about. 3:30 or like midday kickoff is sort of prime Grove time. Like if this wanted to be like a huge sort of statement for the future of the Ole Miss football program, it would certainly be interesting to see it. I'm not sure if we'll get it yet. We haven't heard from the dentist yet. Well, I'm sure we will on Thursday. But I'll be curious to see what the headspace is for Ole Miss fans cheering for their next head coach with this year's team from the old head coach in a game that you should win by a lot, but I don't know how much confidence they have in this team going on a run to win it all. It's just curious if home field advantage, what it's like in the stadium here.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have a big crowd. They're going to prove, hey,
I'm rooting for them.
Belong. Like we're a big time program. Our coach is an idiot for going to LSU. Like we are illegitimate. Like we've arrived. Like we ain't going nowhere type of crowd. Good.
I was gonna say, I also think it's not a rivalry, but there is a regional aspect to this matchup where Tulane is not very far away from Oxford. So I do think that it's.
If I'm a Tulane fan, I'm going, no question.
Yeah,
no doubt.
If I can go.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
You know what needs to happen?
Lane to be there?
No, Lane to live tweet the game. Like if he just live tweets and hey, they should run this, they should do this, or this is that play, that'd be incredible.
I bet you he stays real positive with it. And
I think so too.
Great play, him. Great play. Like Trinidad. Lot of the flag, tweet.
Yeah.
So GGG in the chat is like, do you think if both these games are blowouts, you get rule changes? I don't think. No, I think if both, I think it's a business. So if the ratings are really bad, then yes.
But I also think, and people have pointed this out.
Because we had blowouts last year.
Tom has pointed that out a bunch. Blowouts you can't prevent from scheduling. You can't prevent those from happening.
It's more like, is the run up and the hype for it so bad that nobody turns it on?
I also think the result of Texas, Vanderbilt, Notre Dame being right on the outside is going to have way more impact than how these games turn out. Even if the group of 5 teams won these games, both of them, I still think you might see a tweak to the system just because they don't want to have the ratings will be impacted. And
a tweak to the system that would have kept Duke out too, just by rule.
I'm totally
not opposed to that.
Yeah.